Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on KwingsLetsPlays. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. As well as special thank you to our friends over at Capcom for providing a copy of this game for review, walkthrough, and live streaming purposes. So yesterday we started the trial of the third case, or rather, the 8th case.
Sorry.
Of
Storm
this
alert
game.
on my phone, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Another storm alert. That's fun. Alright, so let's get to this.
Sorry.
You don't have to keep saying it. My gosh, woman. Okay, so this is called A Front for Murder. So that's what
Hey
today's
everyone,
episode
hope everyone's day is going great. And thanks again, Capcom, for providing a copy of this game. Which Luke already said. You're breathtaking, Capcom. Thank you. Great to see everyone in the chat.
Why would you repeat what I just said?
I don't know. Just because you're typing over there and I'm vamping Luke. I don't know.
Okay.
And yes, you guys are correct. I did not really enjoy being dragged around in Minecraft. But I'll try to fix that so people can't do that to me as much. I don't know how, but I appreciate that.
I don't know how you would do that. Alright, so anyway. A Front for Murder. The corpse that went... Oh my gosh. The corpse that went missing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. Oh, I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That is all. That was my mistake. But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he had been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it. Maybe it was like shrapnel or something, I don't know. Well, that's interesting. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart? Information I really would have liked to have heard from someone other than the judge. Yesterday! The coroner says, would have been all but instant from the wound like that. Yes, you said, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. I forgot how to do German. No, that could not be. Further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the secret security team. Blah, 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 blah.
Thanks for the super chat, guys. They adore you, Amber, says Silver Leo. Okay, thanks, Silver Leo.
The victim stood himself inside something called the bird cage, ready to be beamed instantly. And guys, my voice is still opening, so this is going to be interesting. Just so you know. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a huge explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended.
I think I know what happened.
Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair. Oh. From where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower. Whoopsies.
I think I know what happened.
My what? One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
No.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was an accident. A terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record, if you please. The request is granted, counsel. Autopsy has been added into the court record.
May I say what I think happened?
Sure.
Oh, fine. I'll just do this guy. Okay, I'll say it real quick if that's okay.
Sure.
Alright, I think somebody wanted that guy dead. The the guy who paid him, the benefactor, the investor guy. I think somebody else killed him and wanted him dead. I think they killed him and then they put a look-alike into the machine. And then they basically they shot him because it says he was shot or something flew into him. So I think they shot him and they put him up there in the Crystal Tower before the event took place, and then they put a look-alike, somebody pretended to be him in the machine. Then they made a huge explosion and then the guy escaped during the explosion. And then they were able to pretend as though the scientist killed him when in reality he was probably already dead. Because just like nobody has done time travel before, no one has ever done this like beam thing before, so it's impossible. This technology is impossible.
I already think I know what happened.
What?
I think that the person who appeared in the machine was a wax figure.
Oh my gosh, you're right, Luke. It could be a wax figure.
And then the real guy was murdered in the Crystal Tower.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That's why we were talking about the wax figures. That's why one of her wax figures was stolen. They probably put a wig on him to look like that guy.
No, I think he's a famous Englander. So remember, she says there's more than one area of the museum.
Maybe there was already a wax figure made of him.
Exactly. All right.
Wow. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. I don't know. The only person in the stage was Mr. Osman. That was disgraceful excuse for a scientist. Yeah, somebody else definitely killed him. Oh, really? By all accounts, it must have been him.
I'm not smart. I'm just a decent detective. My grandfather was a detective, so runs in the family. Hard to think otherwise, really. Yes, very well. All right, counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. But just so people know, like, at least back in the day, like going 30, 40 years ago, in order to become chief of police, you had to be a detective for a while first. So he was a meter cop, then he was a beat cop, then he was a patrolman, then he was a lieutenant, I think is what the order would go. Then he was a detective, and then he was chief of police for 4 years. And then he was a hot dog man for 26. So, running his own small business. Yes, my lord. I need to focus here. Ouch! It's been a while. This is perfect, because I'm just waking up, so, you know, Ryunosuke is waking up to being a lawyer again, so that works, right?
Yep.
Okay, affront for murder, cross-examination. The corpse went crashing through the Crystal Tower and had broken its neck. Hang on a second. Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height? Exactly, yes. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business. What's that? The fact that the instantaneous transportation thingy itself was a success. Ah! After the explosion, the cage with the fellow inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair.
Maybe he got thrown from a balloon.
I don't know. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous doohickey did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam.
Hold it!
Hold on a second there, cowboy. So the angle of the projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself personally? Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone to be, but me to carry out. Only you got it wrong, sunshine, didn't you? Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake. Do people fall for the brazen confidence? I should try it. I took into account the subject's height and weight and the wind direction and the ambient temperature and considered every possible variable. So I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously, you had to include the weight of the clothes that Mr. Asman was wearing at the time. Ah, yep, it's a wax figure. Because the wax figure would have either weighed more or less, depending on, you know, what type of wax figure it is. So the reason why the experiment failed is because it wasn't actual person inside. I'm pretty
Oh,
I think
yeah.
wax figures would weigh more.
I don't know if they would weigh more or less than a person. That's a good question.
I think it's more. Ah!
I can look it up.
Crackling comments, the answer should have been there 3! What? So much for safety? What? The 3 must be for safety 3rd? I have no idea what's going on. But the post-mortem examination revealed another fatal injury. There was a lesion in his chest where he had been clearly stabbed by something. Okay, post-mortem examination.
Hold it! He was stabbed.
Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense. Well, in theory, if he was crashing through the skylight at a very high velocity, he could have been stabbed through the chest by, shrapnel from the glass. But it probably, I don't know. Then when he landed, he wouldn't have landed face forward. Like, there's no way that you could crash through something, be impaled by something through the front, and then not land face forward. Like, the body would have been found, with his face down instead of his face being up. Because your body doesn't necessarily twist and turn as you fall. Like, he wouldn't, stab and then, somehow have his body turn over as he's falling down. So, yeah. It
wow.
wouldn't work.
This wax figure place is named after a real place in London.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about...
I didn't think I could have spelt this out, but here we go. Just because there are 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it? Huh? Too right, I guess. Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well. But you're saying that's not the case. You'll get your answer once I've finished my fish and chips, if you don't keep butting in every few seconds, man. But we all know that's a bottomless bag. That's right, the fish and chips is kind of, The victim plummeted 30 feet into the glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that the cause of death would be falling. Right, you all, that's what we all thought, but it was a red herring, wasn't it? Dun, 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 dun. There were lesions in the chest, where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp and pointy. Hang on a second. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. I don't care. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of affirming the defense. You did it on purpose, sarcastic, and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of the sharp, pointy object? Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. These! Ah, yes. That would appear to be a 9! There it is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Andrew, of course. Yes! Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them, you know. We're one big happy family. This is getting weird. Even for my courtroom. Andrew is my flat-headed screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well then, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Okay. Ah! That isn't... Yes, it is blood. It's blood. Look at this. I would know. Beyond all reasonable doubt, it is crimson and red in color. No! That's not all. That's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. What?
Wait, how did... I remember seeing the guy walk into the thing, though.
Order! Order!
It says wax figures are 25 kilograms.
So that means they're heavy?
25 kilograms is like...
Or light.
50 pounds, so it would be lighter than a person, I think.
Oh, okay. The court will now hear the friend of the defendant as evidence. Oh, yeah, we'll enter it.
Because a person would be at least like 130 to 100 or 200 pounds.
Okay. So one of Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon, huh? Great! So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow was only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
1 second, please. What grounds do you have for saying that? Do you really need to ask? There were only 2 other people on the public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. Yes, the victim, Mr. Odious Asman, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain Schemes. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right. I saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it. Uh-oh.
Excuse me.
What's going on? Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! What? Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum
Coefficient
scientific molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. Okay, then.
So he's doing a math problem this time.
It seemed as though you might want to say something, though, about Inspector Gregson's last remark there. Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yes, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim in me? I don't know, but there was no way that I could possibly stab Mr. What's your name, as you say? Eh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course. This cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded animals with blood running continuously through their veins. What does this have to do with anything?
I don't know.
I had heard, yes. Then surely you see. If I'd plunged something of the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath, a blood swimming pool. Huh? But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet, one of them claims to have been swimming pool of blood? Well, no, I suppose not. You see, not one.
True. I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. It was? Order! I like the color of red that goes into my glass like so. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends. No idea. Never heard of that word. Adducing?
I don't know what that word is either.
Oh, okay, Amber Stump too. Whatever.
Adducing, I guess.
A what? Adduce? A what? Adducing? Here's to you, Albert. Aha! Oh, you're too kind, Barack. But I am really not a patch on you, what? Now I throw it! No! You're not! No? Huh? Yes. You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have? Particularly a situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Ah, of course! Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Ah, yes, sir? Where are they going with this? Very well, I'm a bit confused, but I'll let you amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he beamed through the air.
Hold it!
Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that the bleeding occurs. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word. Oh, I see. Yes,
Okay.
you learned this in the case at the beginning of the game. Now it comes back to haunt you. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of these facts. It's common knowledge for any investigator. Oh, where's Susie when you need her? Susie! If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from the view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off stage with his fancy doohickey, and the screwdriver were all still where he planted it. But wouldn't the screwdriver been found on the body?
Yeah, it would be beamed with him because it was in the beam machine.
Right. I would never ever do such a thing, not to my precious tools. I would never use them for such dirty work. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That is common knowledge for any scientist. The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated. Can it, though? Oh, my gosh. Alright. So that's all the testimony I have to work with.
May I say something? If the screwdriver was left where he stood and only his body was beamed, that means his clothes would have been left there too, because why would his clothes be beamed with him if the screwdriver wasn't?
The screwdriver wasn't left there. The screwdriver was stuck in the machine.
So then it wasn't near the body.
Right. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Zeeks keep that info to himself until now on purpose to gain the advantage?
Yes.
Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new info as possible. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. I don't think that's important. Let's see. Where was the one where we got a reaction? It was this
when he
one.
said the...
But the post-mortem exam revealed another fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where it had clearly been stabbed by something sharp and pointy. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in the body whilst beamed through the air.
The fact he said that there was no one else who could have stabbed the victim, and that was except for it was found on stage. There's no other person that could have stabbed the victim, and that's when Hairbrain was freaking out. But I don't see him even saying that anymore. Great to see you guys in the chat. Tara and Grace, Akira, Cassie, and Roscoe, Dr. Clue. Tara and Grace says, try looking at the evidence. So let's... Oh, there was a thing where it...
I'm gonna talk to myself. This is blood! Mr. Asmon's, no doubt. This is a problem with looking at murder weapons, though.
Nobody is there to help you.
Yeah. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of that. Screwdriver that was found poking through the grill in the base of the remains of the kinesis machine. Okay.
That is grape juice, says Goki.
Grape juice. Okay. Time of death.
Great to see you guys.
47. Hemorrhage of the wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Broken vertebrae most likely resulted from the impact after sudden fall from considerable height. Mysterious contraption. Can't find anything out of place. I don't even know what this thing is. Okay, nothing about the photo. Great exhibition. Every article on the front page news is about the Great Expedition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's also positive and helpful about the future. You must all go see it properly. I'm talking to myself. Okay. Well,
Interesting.
I'm gonna try to present the screwdriver. There was a lesion in the chest. The weapon the victim was stabbed with has been left in his body whilst he was... No, he wasn't left in the body. No, that's wrong. I found the screwdriver somewhere else. So I'm saying that no.
Yeah, like present the screwdriver and say no. It was found.
Music stopped. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding, correct? Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping the heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Oh!
Really,
bringing that stuff. Yeah, but about the screwdriver, the thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? Yeah, it was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, now that you mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you, contravened the special dispensation of the Scientific Equipment Act. No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. It was very clear he wasn't touching a thing. Yeah, that's true. I didn't touch anything. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? Well, if this tool had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the doohickey machine, then it shouldn't have... Shouldn't it still... Why? Then it shouldn't have still been... Then why was it on the stage? Dumb writing. That's right. It should have been beamed across the crystal tower along with the victim. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Dun, 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 dun. Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't? It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him to where he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in the chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. This is a strange situation. Even though the people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place.
I know, right?
Alright, time to lighten the screws here a little bit. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain the inconsistency in this argument, we can only conclude the testimony given support cannot be relied upon. Blast you! Lord Van Zeeks is stumped. No, he's not. No! What are you doing? You have something to say, witness? Yes, I knew it! It bears out. The equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry!
Huh?
About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. You idiot! What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asmund's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? Nani, you idiot.
So you want to go to jail for murder?
It wouldn't be jail, he'd be hanged. That'd be it.
What's wrong with him?
He's an idiot. It would seem that your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument.
It's like the guy doesn't care if he dies or not.
You idiot! Scientists are morons!
He's book smart, not street smart.
Very well, the defendant will testify again.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the very definition of book smart without being actually smart.
Yeah, you can be book smart and still a moron. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to take hold. In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
Okay.
Wow, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, you're going to put yourself on the gallows.
Yep. Inconsistency explained. Moron. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport a metal through, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have the duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Yeah, but wouldn't the screwdriver stay inside the little beam box? It was found on stage.
You see, I win. Well, that just sunk the defenses. So then, so the thrust of your testimony, is that it, Professor? That based on this hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous transportation.
Why not?
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore, the professor, her idiot, could still have been the killer. You idiot!
What a moron. He's like, my great hypothesis holds.
My hypothesis holds, you see? I'm amazing. Oh, wait. We had to make the cage used to contain the object from the world. The wood of, that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor, you're on trial here, you... Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
You're going to die. You can't complete your research if you're home.
Is he working for us or against us? It's hard to tell. Let's see how the cross-examination works this time, my Nipponese friend. Fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Dude.
I don't want to do this. This is dumb.
I feel like we should just walk out.
Yep, I'm good. I'm walking out.
You know what? If you want to go to the gallows, fine. Have a nice day, sir.
My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal through, hence why the metal object would have stayed put.
Hold it!
Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't proven then? No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by the, I have no idea.
Electrolysis, but that doesn't make any sense because a lot of our body is made out of metal. Iron is in our blood, calcium is a metal that's all over our bones.
Okay, not a science lesson.
I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense. That means half of the body wouldn't be transported either. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yes,
of course, I'm right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you'll see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that is what I call the obtuse cage in which the man was placed for the experiment. At the jail cell in which the victim was detained, it does indeed seem to be made of timber for some apparent reason. I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarnation.
Incarceration.
Whatever. Jail. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed by that doohickey device would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct?
It would be left inside in the box, though.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, yes, yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model. Well, the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict the fatal injury of the victim, is it not? Ah! Now you get it, you stupid moron!
Facepalm!
Indeed, sir. You've just hung yourself. Someone beam me out of this courtroom, please.
Alright, thanks for the super chat. Silver Leo says, I guess I'll get the tea ready. This is gonna be a brain twister episode. Yep.
Oh. In other words, the point was raised by Mr. Naruhodo is an inconsistency at all.
Hold it!
Wow. You seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. Ha 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 ha. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? Nope. Not pleased. I knew it. It's the end of the day. I'm the one responsible for Mr. Asman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse. I know that.
Yes, but you didn't murder him.
You didn't stab him, you moron. You just have to say, I didn't stab him.
You have to say it was an accident.
Ugh. No, you're quite right. Tell the court, did you have a close relationship with the man or not? Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I'd only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis and the project and the research grant, of course.
Yeah, he has no motivation to kill him.
Mr. Eisman was a patron of my research.
Hold it!
How did you come to know Mr. Asman in the first place? What? Oh, a year ago now, a small science journal published a little paper about my work. That's a scientific journal. Good gracious, I should need new spectacles. I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered down water out of tiny little glasses. But Mr. Asman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory and offered you money to help fund your work. Exactly, that's exactly what happened. I handled the theatrical side of things, and Mr. Asman provided me with the engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced the fantastic machine. The machine that you brought to Great Britain for the demonstration, correct? We had to apply all the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed, but yes, I didn't understand all the side things. Mr. Asman took care of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe him everything.
Yep, that's why you would never want to kill him. Tim says, if someone is trying to kill you, don't load the gun for them. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that was probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen in Ace Attorney. Like, that was just...
But honestly, I can say, having been in a lot of honor classes with people, I know people like this in real life that they can know everything I knew a girl that I went to school with in high school, and she went to the National Spelling Bee. She was in my class, and she used to read the dictionary for fun, but like basic things that everybody knew, like she would just be like, oh, I don't know how to do that, and it's like, okay, well, alright then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you concentrate so much on reading that you're missing the really basic things in life.
Alright, I'm gonna get a little disturbing here, but just looking at this guy again, there's no way that screwdriver could have pierced the victim's heart, because look at all the clothing that he's wearing. If the screwdriver was gonna kill someone, then it would need to be where flesh is soft, like around the neck or inside of the ear.
Wow, Luke.
Or even through the eye.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just saying.
I will not sleep at night now. Oh
because
my gosh.
The clothing that he's wearing would, it'd be you'd have to be like the Hulk in order to push that thing through. I'm just saying. It doesn't make sense.
Luke. Oh my gosh. So maybe they just stabbed him with a screwdriver afterwards. After they already stabbed him with a knife. Or they with a crossbow.
The crossbow? There's no arrow, though. And this doesn't even have a sharp edge, it's blunt. Like...
I can't think about this.
I'm just saying... hey, I got that... That was from a Batman comic.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I can't unhear that.
Sorry.
Why, Luke?
Objection.
Professor Hairbrain, you moron! You say that according to your hypothesis... I'm just pressing stuff for the sake of it. Or presenting, because I have no idea.
Okay.
Nothing made of metal can be beamed by the instantaneous kinesis through your machine. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
Does he have metal on his clothing?
In that case, I'd like you to look at this photograph that was taken at the scene of the crime. Oh, the glasses are made of metal.
How did his glasses get there? They wouldn't have been beamed.
I see. Okay. So, in particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face, please. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No! Metal can't! That's not... Metal? No! Yeah, okay. I want a new witness, because this guy needs to shut up now. We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found at the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed glasses would be found in the same place. My hypothesis!
Yep, you didn't do it. You're...
Professor Hairbrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Yep.
No!
Your experiment did not work, dude. It did not work.
Why are you upset? Order! Order! Do you want to have yourself killed? What is its implication? If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous doohickey never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound.
Nope.
I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was proof of all my work.
No, it didn't work.
If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society of London,
Yes, Jara number 4, go ahead. Why not?
Yes. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait, Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud.
I say the wreckage of the machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never. Not the machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the special dispensation of the Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil's a blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? Huh? I don't like the way where he's going with this, but whatever. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Wait and see.
Yep.
Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being. My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
But what about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh my gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself was the murder weapon, I think you'll find that act will not apply.
Of course it was the murder weapon. Anyone can see that. Plain as day. Blah, blah, blah. So we're all in agreement, are we? That the machine should be stripped. Ah! If I don't do something, they'll...
Objection.
Professor Hairbrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public, he would have absolutely had no reason to do such a thing.
Objection.
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. Oh no!
If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, then he and his conspirators could have received a handsome sum indeed.
Oh no. Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year! You live on some for that money for years! I don't know. The Society's noticed on the increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake.
I want funding cake.
People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
And you're doomed. No. I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all, it's the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
Will you shut up, please? No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ah, Barak! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Oh, Barak. Where is this heading? I have no idea.
This is really stupid.
My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Jeeks, what is it? The prosecution would like to summon a new witness to the stand. A new witness? That would be the nature of this involvement, eh? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibit, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well, the court will grant the prosecution's request. It should very much like to hear what these witnesses have to say about the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. Fake.
I don't know.
The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the eyes of all the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh? Yes, what is it?
Sorry.
Don't do that. It's time for you to make your own stance clear. If you're gonna do that, walk away. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witness to take the stand. Very well, I can do that. As you wish, my lord. Good, in that case, the court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
20-minute hype.
Nope. Sit up straight.
I am sitting up the straight. Kind of. I need this.
Drink your coffee.
It's already all gone.
Get yourself new coffee.
I want to make myself soup, but I don't have any soup.
Sorry. Alright, so that was way too short. We're going to continue on with the next part of the trial. October 23rd, 10:44 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. It's just when you do that, then it makes me tired, and I'm already wide awake.
Alright, then. I will get
Mr.
some more coffee!
Naruhodo! What on earth are you playing at just now? Or rather... what on earth are you playing at all? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis. You've been picking holes in it from the start. Sorry about that, but you implicated yourself, you moron. But you promised me. You say you'd proven that Dafted explosion was an accident, not murder. You'd say you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands. But all you've done so far is try to undermine me. Yeah. I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I believed in you and I'd fight for your freedom to the very end. I didn't say anything about your harebrained machine. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? But if I just run through some equations, yes, you'll see, it is because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence. Perhaps you don't get this, okay? A man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh, yeah! No. And if you eat something, you're gonna make yourself tired. Just coffee, honey. You're right. You're so right. It is all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Barack? He's being so awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being and my friend. Oh, no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapien anymore. I'm glad that's cleared up.
He's doing his job, which means he doesn't care if you live or die.
I can double check on something for you if you want. Ah, yes, but the machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume, correct? There was no trickery involved. What? I drew the plans of the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it is true that my hypothesis hadn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
I don't.
Alright, Professor, I understand.
I don't believe that the technology is possible.
Counsel, defend it! You're
Yeah.
wanted back in the circus. Prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Please, go back as court is in session once again. Make your way inside. Thank you.
I think it will be possible in like the year 3000 or something, but I don't think it's possible now.
It all hinges on that demonstration, eh? If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Holmes was adamant. A particle implantation, such as the attempted by the great professor at the exhibit, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? That your client didn't commit murder.
Citrix says that was the fastest 20 minutes of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say time is speeding up. Or, I mean, some people say that.
I mean, that was a 50-minute... According to this thing, we've been streaming for 50 minutes, but... October 23rd, 11 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom.
I think time is speeding up.
All right. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this here court. Welcome back, kids. The counsel for the defense and the prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. All right, so, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe that these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes. Yes, indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable.
Oh no, it's gonna be Guinea.
Oh no. A perfect detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound, blah, blah. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed the act of murder is my friend, this fool over in the stands, the accused. Yes, all right, thank you, counsel. Prosecution, your position is clear, we get it. You want to see your friend killed? You're a crazy person. But anyway, bring forth your witnesses now. I have no friends.
Yeah.
I only like blood. Bailiff, show in the witnesses.
He had one friend left and he's trying to kill him.
The witness whose proximity to the incident of the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally.
It's gonna be Gina. I knew it! She's a liar, though. She lied in court the last several times.
Alright, you're gonna be the little boy and Gina, and I've got the fat guy. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Loon. Balthazar Loon. I am the
No, I was just thinking from Jingle All the Way where Balthazar's head like rolls into it.
I'm the operator of the hot air balloons in vicinity of the stage. Yup. I don't know.
Or you could give him a weird accent. I don't know.
Aha, German kid.
Oh, wait. My name is William Gottfried Sigismund Ornstein.
Okay, I cannot do this.
Ha ha ha.
I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
I can't do this. This is
You
ridiculous.
want me to do the little kid?
No, I can do it since you're doing so many voices.
Yeah, there's too many.
You just say how you would do it, but then I'll just do it.
I'll show you how I'd do it with a little kid. Okay. Okay, wait. I'll show you how
He
I'd
has an
voice
accent,
the kid.
though.
I know.
Is he?
He's German.
He says he's Bohemian, though. That's not German.
Wait, what is Well, I mean, you can't listen to a Bohemian accent.
Well, I'm gonna see what it's like. Where is
I
Bohemia?
have come to the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
See, that's how I would do it.
Oh, he's Eastern European,
He's
so
Eastern European. Yeah.
Czech Republic. So that would be like. Well, it's near Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, Austria.
It still would be a German accent.
It could be part German, but part like Transylvanian, kind of. Eastern European.
I would still say German. The Polish people sound like Germans. So yeah.
I think they wouldn't. I mean, I
You
don't know
just
if they
can't
would
do a
agree.
German accent. Huh?
No, I can't do a German accent. You're right, I can't. But I guess I'll learn today.
He has money apparently. This little kid.
I am very rich.
Okay, I can't do this. Okay,
Ha, ha,
I'll just try.
Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard, I'm a detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got up to in one of those balloons. It was amazing. All right, now I'm completely thrown off.
Haha.
I am completely thrown off.
Gina again? But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster in a balloon, actually, didn't she?
Well, Bohemian are close to Romanian, so that would be like what Dick Grayson is.
Dick Grayson doesn't have an accent. And she clearly loved every minute of it.
Whatever.
Alright, let's go. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time, and they saw the events unfold from the— No! You do not get to do that.
Oh my gosh!
Nope. Hey, you're the one who yawned. You make it sound like we were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of 60 feet, very low.
People said it could be like a Russian accent.
Well, you
Just had coffee.
can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya?
60 feet. 60 feet. About 18 meters then. Okay. Do you know a Russian accent or no? All right.
Make up my own country accent.
Thank you for your introductions. Now we'll give you a formal testimony for the court.
I can do an Italian accent.
No Italian accent for the little
Fine.
kid.
You know what? I'll figure this out.
Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had vantage points high above the stage. I believe that's very crucial. All right, let's continue my circus. The testimony of the little kid with the mask and the bandage on his face. The view from 60 feet up. I was in the incident day was terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
And there's a huge bang from the stage. And then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Can't do this.
Are you
I
kidding
can't.
me?
And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, yep, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look at the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Wow,
I've never been to Bohemia.
That's a short testimony. Most extraordinary collective account, I must say. Could I just clarify something, please? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard mentioned until now. Specifically, that there are two explosions now? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. What? When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here! I like to draw. I made this myself at home. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as the power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. Boom! The so-called bird cage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witness. The bird cage appeared at the side of the explosion, subsequently plummeting down to the crystal tower.
How was that even possible, though?
I don't know.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blood was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide.
Shut up.
There you go, small child.
I'm butchering this little kid's
That's
accent.
fine.
It's just terrible. This is just the worst moment of my life.
I still have lots of money.
That's fine, I guess. Precisely who is this curious infant? I am told he's a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of the child's point of view in this testimony, provided we don't run out of balloons. Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see a delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in the explosion, the instantaneous doohickey was successfully demonstrated on stage. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was seen with Mr. Asman on the stage could possibly committed the murder. But nobody saw him stab him. Yes, thank you, Consul. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear now. So, the defense's cross-examination now, if you please. Yes, my lord. I suppose. Cross-examining a small boy who likes to buy balloons. View from 60 feet up. Cross-examination. Whoa. Oh, it was, terrible. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Yup.
You could make him sound like Wario.
Mario, it was incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Wahahaha.
That's what you want?
I don't know. I really
Mario,
don't know.
I make balloons for children. Wah.
I don't
There
know.
were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage, I understand, right?
I'm
Fine,
so
fine, he's
sorry I
Wario.
asked for that.
See, all 3 of them. My Bellissima Bambino. They were very popular singers. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. Wah!
People are saying it's Bohemian may be similar to Italian a little bit, so I don't know.
10 pounds, that's more than my annual stipend.
Incidente is an Italian word, says OH.
There you go.
Or,
20 pounds a month. That is my pocket money.
Royals have all the luck.
I'm gonna still do them a little bit German though. It's because some countries do have words that cross over. Like you can have some similar words in different languages.
I got up there for free, I did. Pay the old, I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know?
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Oh, people say Mario? He does kind of look like Mario. Alright, fine. Because I have too many in disguise. They could crash into each other. It'd be terrible. Oh! The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. Oh no! See! And the zone above the public experimentation stage is so much too profitable. The other Immerse heroes, they hate me. Ha ha! Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the expedition.
oh my gosh.
Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident, if you don't mind.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
Hold on, Gina.
Eh?
So you actually saw the accident happen from way up in the air?
Yup, isn't it amazing? What a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug game. You should join the force, and we can go flying together.
You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw?
He doesn't
do you
like
think?
flying.
No. If God wanted us to fly, he'd give us wings.
Everything. We saw everything, 'cause we were up in it all.
Uh-huh.
That dodgy cove climbing into the cage, and that dodgy professor pulling on them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was this massive bang, and the cage disappeared, just like that.
You're describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I don't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in me ear. I looked round, and there was a huge fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before.
Oh, little kid knows something.
Excuse me.
Yo, boy. Master Gotts. Does your memory of the day differ?
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Huh? Yes. What was it again?
Wilhelm Gustrig Sigismund Ormstein.
Just the 4 names then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps?
Oi! Get it right, Odo! It's Inspector Lestrade! Inspector!
Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? Susie!
That is not what I saw.
Oh? What's up, little man?
Yeah, there was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloon. That is true.
Okay.
But I am sure that which is what I said, ain't it? 1 minute there was nothing there, and the next a massive explosion, just like I said.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, my teacher at elementary school said that someone else is speaking. If you are rude enough to interrupt, then we'll have the most awful life imaginable.
Are the Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy and then anger? Are they bipolar? Oh, hello. You want another balloon?
No
Okay.
balloon. Thank you. Just because before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
A green balloon?
You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it. You can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will scream and cry. My testimony is the truth. I am a Bohemian prince. You cannot say it is a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical.
Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony yet again. In the interest of the cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
It was not the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to us at the time.
Huh?
It was a green balloon.
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian prince.
I don't care. Okay, I think you mean bored, Prince.
English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Rexio, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It's illogical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insulted me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madoi! I don't know.
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Oh no! Not my balloons! Oh, ho, ho, ho.
May I have another balloon, please?
My
sir?
balloons are endless.
Thank
Here
you.
you are, your highness.
Thank you very much.
If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Also, how is this balloons never ending? That was amazing. Anyway, that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom. Perhaps we could return to the testimony at hand. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon? Loon, it's like a balloon. No, I did not see the thing myself. However, Luigi saw it. Hello. The cage had fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. I hate my mustache so much. Oh.
I hate your mustache too.
Did you actually see what happened, Mari? I mean, no. In the reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. Wha-bam! There was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran out to see what happened, even though I was in my balloon, just to make a sense of it. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed.
The chat keeps telling us to look at our green fabric in our court record.
Oh.
I don't know if we have any green fabric.
I don't think we have any green fabric. What? I suppose there's this is his livelihood. He's a balloon man. But when I look up in the sky, all my precious balloons, they were still there. Ha ha!
I saw it. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now.
You're not a detective. You're
And-
just a street rat.
How dare you?
I'm the judge, lady. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Inspector Lestrade, thank you very much. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower, you see.
Hold it!
Okay, was it you who gave the order to keep people away then?
Use your head, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in the balloon, weren't I?
Right, okay.
So, because I weren't available at the time, it was the boss who had to leg it over there.
Uh-huh.
He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to sail off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing it was.
Poor Inspector Gregson.
So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke, you see.
Well, that makes sense, I suppose.
And I really didn't want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of me wits.
Keep it together, Inspector. It'll be fine. Okay, the prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it actually was some kind of switch-around trick instead?
Dun dun dun!
That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure as well. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. It was incredible. I'm the only one grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand. Yes, all 3 of them. My, bambinis or whatever. They were very popular. Sigor. Some people would pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend.
20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Royals have all the luck.
I think he's saying Bellissimi Bambini. I think it means a beautiful baby. Like it's his baby.
Oh.
I got off there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's police card. You know how it is.
Detectives have all the luck. Alright. If they were so popular, why would they only be operating a small number of balloons, though? Because, if I have too many in disguise, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. Yes, see, and zone above a public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impacios, they hate me.
It means beautiful baby or beautiful child. It's his child.
Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for the balloon rides at the expedition.
So yeah, the ride was his baby.
Great. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right. I can fill you in there, my lord.
People are saying
problem.
present a green cloth, but I don't think we've been
I
given a
don't think
green
we have one. I can rip one off my short hat. I'm wearing green. Oh my goodness,
we have a green
do
cloth.
have a green cloth. My word.
Never mind. I don't even remember getting this. Can't find anything out of place. I mean, it's a green cloth. Huh. It looks like layers of a thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts.
Like a balloon?
I've never seen anything like this before, but applying Mr. Shom's methods, you might deduce it's part of a raincoat worn by someone who really didn't want to get wet, and the charring must have occurred when the person was struck by lightning.
Looks like you've been hanging out
Or maybe not.
I think he's been hanging out with Shomes too much. Well, I don't know. I
Oh,
guess
we have a piece of green cloth.
they say there was no green balloon. Whenever Lestrade says there's no green balloon, you could just present that.
Yeah, I think not all your balloons were... Well, what's this here?
Objection!
Oh, cool. Mr. Loon, right? In your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged, correct? That's right. That is correct. If you had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is then. I think it may be... part of a balloon, a burnt piece of fabric of the envelope. Sorry? The envelope? Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon, which becomes filled with the hot air. It is made of very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want to rip when you're in the sky. Just as I thought. The piece of cloth was found near the experiment stage. In other words, as Master Gotts has testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
if all the balloons in the sky above the experiment stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence.
Whoa!
Whoa! We got the Mario. If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man... Oh, maybe everyone on board was killed.
Oh no, just spent 10 whole pounds for the experiment. How awful. Seems to me like those crushed 50% in the...
Quiet, everyone! The instantaneous kinesis did occur after the explosion on this day.
No.
The point of the materialization shifted a location occupied by a balloon, causing the balloon to explode. Yes, that's plausible, I suppose.
No, it's not.
An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pretense of the fix. Yes, it does.
Hold it.
This cannot accept this. Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I'm a liar, like my brother Luigi. The person's died in a balloon, incidente. There is no way to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. The loon is not a liar. There was no such a balloon in the sky.
Oh.
It's not possible.
Balthazar is short for ball, so his name is Balloon.
Balloon. Yeah, okay.
His name is Ball.
You're saying it's impossible? Why, Mr. Balloon? This court was more important matters than discussed than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Objection.
But that we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls further testimony from Mr. Balloon. All right, then I concur. There's still clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue for this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibit. Ah, grazie, my lord. So much for balloons. Mr. Loon's balloons.
Mr. Balloon Loons.
As I said, the Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground, it would have been a catastrophe.
But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The couples at the yard reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
No! This is a stupid mistake. My balloons have the red and the blue zigzag stripes anyway. Oh, okay.
Maybe it was something that wasn't your balloon. Maybe it was
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you. Say, yes, even that saw the balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It's very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be for and out war.
Oh, war.
May I have balloons, sir?
I love the coins,
thank
especially
you.
gold ones I get from bricks that I hit my head on repeatedly. What happened to all-out war? Maybe he just said, I want another balloon. Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and the evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find the fault with the witness statement, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation here clearly has changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. All right, counsel, you may now cross-examine the witness, yada, yada, yada. Okay.
Mr. Loon's balloons.
As I said, the loon is no liar. Every balloon in the sky, she landed safely.
Hold it!
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? No! I might not have noticed if it was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we're talking about 3 enormous balloons. You believe me, I could not make a mistake about something so grand and expensive. I took the liberty of having the Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons. I love to count. 3 balloons. Not the 1, not the 2, but 3 balloons. It would appear no mistake has been made then. Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a minimal task.
What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he'd have to go himself in that case.
Ah!
You can only count to 2.
She was trolling him. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe for me.
Hold it!
Hold it.
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Balloon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiot? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. A balloon flies because she flies. What else? Ha ha! Ha ha! That must be Italian for I don't know! There are 3 types of flying balloons. The hot air balloons and the gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen, yes, lighter than air but highly explosive. Good Lord! I do not permit the smoking of cigarettes in my balloons. The magic gas does not like a fire.
Magic gas.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
Oh, wow.
What is the matter with you, signore? What comes out of your mouth? It's something.
Explosion.
Explosion. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I'm completely sure. But if you still say what is that happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. It's a word problem. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded?
Another one.
A 4th balloon!
But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? I mean, really? Oh!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. I didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for the clues?
No! I'm not really into picking stuff up the ground, me.
What?
I don't like that kind of work. Anyways, working out way better diving into people's pockets instead.
So much for a new career path.
You're supposed to have a different career path now, Gina.
Mind you, the boss was on his and hands and knees, picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So, that's where most of the investigating was going on then.
Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence.
Court, listen to you. Just stumbling across a bit of balloon, and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world.
Why, thank you. Pardon?
Well, you ain't got a badge, have ya? Like this one? I could arrest you with this if I wanted to, haha!
I wouldn't put it past her, actually.
Just come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had on the investigation team.
Oh?
The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion at the stage.
This is stupid Araxio is mistaken. My balloons have a red and a blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Regad. Do you want to know how to say it? Ragazzo. Ragazzo.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
I just don't want to say Italian words because I used to sing in Italian. in high school days.
I know.
Just don't it's like pizza. PTS.
The stupid
Italian.
pizza face is a mistaken. There.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm too like.
You mean the color is wrong? Si, signore. I did not have a green balloon in my warehouse. And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how it can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that the green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There'd have been a recreational. Bleh.
Too many
There'd have
accents.
been recreational balloon flights over the Hyde Park, operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on the earlier date. Unfortunate, I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, extraordinary, as the signore says. It's not from one of my balloons. Ha ha! Clearly this little Raxio. Uh-oh!
Excuse me.
You, child! Is something wrong, Prince?
No, oh, it must have Wilhelm Gustrig Striximand Ormstrid.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw.
Okay.
There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear it all over Bohemia.
No, you can speak as much a bad language as you like, a small child. But it changes nothing.
How dare you, sir?
If you do not have the evidence, then I must tell you, you stupid pizza face, for your parents to punish you, eh?
I do not like pizza. I like to eat sauerkraut for every meal.
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments, shall we?
Evidence? What is this evidence you speak?
To give a simple sample, young man. A photograph, for instance, or something tangible proof of what you claim.
Ah, well, why did you do this so sooner? I have the photograph here
Good gracious, how did you get that? What?
because I am royalty. I have not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. Ha! I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride in the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us the photographs, please?
Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did get a green balloon. I mean, I saw one.
There it is, the green balloon.
What am I seeing here? What?
Well, I see you are too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
One balloon, please. Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that was a green balloon from this photograph, but it was. But that is not my fault. That is the fault of this stupid person who made the camera. Whoa! Whoa!
That is one very bohemian sounding cry.
Whoa! Whoa!
Very well. All right, the court will accept the photograph as evidence. Stop your incessant babbling. Photograph was added. Okay, all right. Are we good?
It is not my fault. It is the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful memories to take home with you, right? In any case, when exactly did you take that photo?
It was on the day of the big
You don't say? Okay.
Then I pressed the shutters and there was this very loud bang and a hot wind burst over my face.
Huh? That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. Yes, I could not give the flying a fig. A lovely language you've picked up there.
Sorry, headphone users.
As I thought, Mr. Balloon's testimony doesn't seem to quite add up. You could say he's full of hot air. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Balloon denies these claims. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were given in the air. Okay. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. As I said, I'm an old liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. Uh-huh. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the... No. This balloon doesn't show any passengers. Gotcha.
Objection.
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important. But it shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers. Good gracious, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See! That they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with the passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, it was a fourth balloon in the sky above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
Oh my gosh!
I know nothing. I can tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Oh, there was a fourth balloon.
Objection. There are illegal tradesmen everywhere. You care to look? Clearly, one of them, oh, jeez. It has to do with, what is that?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, thank you. Clearly, one of those entrepreneurs decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate the balloon flights when Mr. Loon's patch wasn't him, without him realizing, or something. See, that is true, trying to steal my profits, the stupid competition. I did not notice because of the explosion that went wrong on the stage. The fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment that Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below.
Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down, eh? But cause no one was in it, it didn't get no attention, right?
A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating above the experimentation stage.
Objection.
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one, and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it was nothing to do with this case.
Or everything.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say. The court has been sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Nobody's paying attention. Really? Have we really got the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor either. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there anything more we can learn from it? There's more.
I think so.
Objection.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give your decisions just yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may be well hiding a more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue?
Objection.
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? I'll say the cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently, yes, because the birdcage from the Kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantaneously explode when ignited.
Objection.
No! No, that's not what happened. What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court immediately. Of course, Your Honor. I can do that. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence I have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded.
Well, I mean, you can see the explosion shooting up towards it.
What is that line?
Yeah, it looks like there was a line going
There's
up to
something
it,
that looks like a bullet or something.
like a beam.
What is this?
And it doesn't look like there's a fire under the balloon, so that means the balloon is propelled by hydrogen gas, which is highly explosive.
You can also see that the man in the cage is right here. Everybody's watching him put stuff together too, so there's no way he could have stabbed him because he's already inside the cage.
Yeah, that's true.
The smoke would actually make it very easy for somebody to switch the bodies, though. That's my guess. Alright, so anyway.
Well, I mean, you could actually, if you made an explosion in the cage, the entire cage could have, like...
Well, here's the thing, too. If this cage teleported into this balloon, the amount that the explosion would have occurred would have, like, destroyed the body. Or at least the body would be all, like, flame and broiled and stuff like that.
I mean, the wax figure could have just melted or completely disintegrated by fire.
Ah, you're right. The wax figure would have burned up.
All you would have to do is burn it up, and then you wouldn't even.
All right.
It wouldn't even be. Left.
Let's do this bolt here.
Take that.
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white light that appears to be pointing directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort. If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear that the nature of this bright line really is. It does? Goodness, what is that?
Ah, undeniably some flash of light, yes. Oh, golly, do you think it might be lightning?
Well, it couldn't have been on a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it appears to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection.
Objection. That is absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular device, a piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how exactly that did happen. What evidence? If such evidence exists, Consul, then for goodness sake, present it, man. Just so you guys know, you cannot steal evidence from the crime scene as a lawyer and then present it in court. You're tampering with evidence. So, not everything in the Ace Attorney game works if you're trying to represent yourself as a lawyer. Like, you know, for your own defense if you ever get pulled in front of court. You cannot steal things from the crime scene and then use it for your defense later because, I mean, that's all kinds of shady. But anyway.
I would.
Which evidence explains a mysterious streak of flame? It's this weird device.
It is? Oh, that's what the chat is saying, the crossbow thingy.
The true nature of the curious slim streak of light is revealed by this. A curious answer with a slim chance of being the correct one, I feel. It looks somewhat like a piece of firework, but whereas fireworks dazzle their audience, you fizzle out in a remarkable, disappointing way. Oh.
I think you were supposed to examine it.
I was supposed to examine it. Okay. Ugh! Insults dressed up like colorful metaphors are still insults! But anyway, the firework display isn't over yet. If such evidence exists, then present it, man! Which evidence explains it? I can't find anything out of place. I mean, it looks like a... But it's a crossbow.
I don't know.
There we go. Ah, there's some sort of lever here. Oh! Wow. What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. I think it's probably used for the same thing, too. There we go, crossbow. We opened it up.
You could put a fire arrow in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Try this again. This was found hidden at the foot of the small ornamental tree at the scene. Good lord, is that a crossbow? An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending the flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that the crossbow was used to deliberately explode the balloon?
Oh, blimey, you're right! That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was, very likely the result of a flaming arrow from the crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! Order! Order! Consul, this is an extraordinary suspicion. If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's no obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course, would have startled everyone. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at a balloon very silently.
Well, yeah, if someone had a shot at a gun off the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic.
But with the big explosion, there was a bigger panic anyway, no? It was a distraction. I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found some plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded, right? And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued...
Well, wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me! Ah, now I understand. That's what this sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What did I just hear you say, Consul? There's no going back now. The horse has bolted.
But where would the basket go?
Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start.
But wouldn't it have blown up?
On stage, when the experiment was started, The birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the sky crystal tower.
Yeah, but what happened to the basket?
Incinerated from the explosion, probably.
Then
It was
why-
made of wood.
But why wouldn't that guy's birdcage be incinerated?
No, it was made of wood.
I'm so confused.
I think you'll be able to agree that it's entirely plausible that what we've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Good grief!
Ooh.
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you just described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility, in which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. In any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? Well, if I may be put in a word as a man of magic myself, such an apparent discrepancy can easily be explained by simple deception. Juror number 3? All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim. And having this other man appear on stage in the front of the show? A body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered into the four winds when it exploded. No one would have ever embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio. I skipped science class.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable, but not to such an extent as to render the whole obscene charade impossible.
What? So everything that happened can be explained logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that the instantaneous machine had actually worked. Well then, goodness me. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. Yeah!
Oh my gosh.
In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in full view the entire time. Ah!
Oh my gosh.
This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zeeks can't credibly maintain that Professor Hairbrain is suspect now. No, not the scientist again.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, come on, dude! Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts, thank you. Professor, what?
Dude.
But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. What?
I'm sorry, that's what we were gonna say to you.
What is all this about, Mr. Hairbrain? Albert Hairbrain hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Ardsman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver.
Wait,
What?
He's gonna try to confess to murder so he can...
What are you doing?
He wants to show his experiment was real. I think he doesn't care.
Order! Order! Defendant, explain the sudden confession.
Objection!
Professor Hairbrain, what are you talking about? It's what I said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine.
Dude, you're being
You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor, if you just listen. Barak! Yes, my friend. I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So, please, ensure the special dispensation for scientific equipment act is adhered to protect my creation.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I hate this guy.
You don't even know if they built it right. You gave them the specs to build it. You don't even know if they did it right. What a moron.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in light of the accused's confession. Ah! You intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than conjuring trick, because the moment you do, the special dispensation for the Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply.
Who cares?
The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. I don't care. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis will be preserved. Yeah. Well, Consul, what is the defense's official position on this matter? What Professor Hairbrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his theory. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request? His life. Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust. You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my friend? Or was all the knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Oh, jerk.
Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous machine was in fact a conjuring trick. No, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down.
What?
What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask. What? Who said that?
I don't know. Maybe Susato? What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here, Ryunosuke. It's what I can protect.
Ah!
Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long.
Wait, is she in his mind or something? Susie, am I seeing things? What? But what are you? Ah! My first Susie takedown in 6 months. My back.
There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand.
Are you real or a figment of my imagination? Did I just flip myself?
Or was
Which
it?
is working out. What? What do I protect? It's all in my mind. Professor Hairbrain. Ah, yes. Yesterday you told me that the science is the purest of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is that what we must pursue now. No!
He didn't even build the machine, though. He gave the other person the specs to build it.
So, you're finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Barak! Lord Van Zeeks!
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there is something I've remembered that is of relevance. What? One day, and it happened just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding a crossbow. I beg your pardon? Professor! Did the man make any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see, one lens than me, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man you see. I know him very well. After all, he is the engineer who built my invention. What? What? He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Asman introduced me to him a year ago. He's a man by the name of...
Enoch
Drebber. Enoch?
Drebber?
Does this name mean something to members of the jury? You seem flustered.
Not a name of any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of his nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of another flamboyant experiment that turned out to be nothing less but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to those underhanded tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch as a name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you!
Well, this is interesting. You were duped, scientist dude.
He really believed in his hypothesis.
Oh well, so
much.
bad. Too bad, so sad.
But it wasn't him who built the machine, it was that other guy.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion? Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber, yeah, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
So the guy didn't really build it to his specifications.
Even so, no one else believed it. I wanted to. I wanted to believe that the machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give way to my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if I was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I've worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you, about the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber? I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulent acquiring the research grant money.
Yeah, but he didn't know.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Mr. Drebber had described. Then when the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. The old switcheroo. Magician's trick. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. And the man is broken. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation Scientific Equipment Act? Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
So the guy killed his business partner, basically.
Yep. It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings as the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks! Yes, my lord. The court has newly been aware of another party involved in this critical matter. Yes, Mr. Dreber. Gather information about the man if possible. I would like to see him served a subpoena. With pleasure, my lord. Now then, counsel for the defense. Yes, my lord. When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused. I understand. Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. All right, then. Okay, we're gonna end here, guys, because we'll find out about Susie and why she's back and stuff tomorrow. Because there'll be like 10-20 minutes of dialogue, just like them ending the trial. So, we're not doing that.
Okay.
I gotta save my voice for other streams tonight. Whoop. I'm guaranteeing it's gonna be like 10 minutes of dialogue. Susie's gonna be there and all this other stuff. So. Woof! And then we'll get into... They'll probably do an investigation or something else. Who knows? That was a lot of work today, though. Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, that is going to do it for today's The Great Ace Attorney Adventures 2 Resolve. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun. I'm going to go have my dinner. And then your next stream will be starting up at 7:30, which will be on Mario & Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, Bowser Jr.'s Journey Returns. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you in a little bit. So thanks so much for watching.
Yep.
Ace Attorney will return tomorrow.
Yeah, don't forget to like and leave a comment. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys in 20-30 minutes. God bless. Happy gaming. See ya.